Hello, One Life. Good morning. We have a great call lined up for everyone today. There's also a B-Lead challenge that kicked off this morning, and I'll discuss the details of that contest later in today's call. Going to go ahead and roll into our devotion this morning to get us started off on the right foot, and we're glad to have Bill Cole join us for our devotion this morning. Bill serves as our Vice President of Information Technology and has been with One Life for about 5.5 years. His job seems frantic at times as he and his staff are developing new software, helping our managers and agents with technical issues, and fixing, as Bill says, fixing anything that breaks if it plugs into a wall. Bill and his wife Jennifer have 4 children and are both amazing parents and leaders for their family. They keep their family heavily involved in their local church and children's ministry. So we're glad to have Bill with us. Bill, are you on the call this morning?
I am. David, thank you so much for that. I appreciate everything that you do personally and enjoy your friendship and your professionalism. Thanks for having me. Guys, I've talked about this before, but I want to lead into this. My family is cable TV free. We took the plunge a few years ago to be a streaming-only family as a way to save cost and to cut down on couch time. We used only Hulu Plus for a long time, then opted months later to choose Netflix. I'm sure you're familiar with Netflix. It's the DVD mail service that has since added streaming. They were growing by leaps and bounds when in 2011 they decided to unbundle the 2 delivery methods. Instead of charging $10 like they had been doing, knowing that most people actually only use one or the other service, they would charge $8 for DVD rental and then $8 for streaming. Only the few people who use both would have to pay more. Everybody else would actually save money. But that's not the way that people perceived it. They felt like it was a move to raise revenue. The people felt like they had been cheated, that it was not fair, which resulted in the people punishing the company to the tune of 10 million subscribers that quit in 1 month, which I still think is a record today. The company relented and later changed plans. The moral of this story, people want to be treated fairly, and when they haven't, they respond quickly and decisively. The fairness is a part of a national conscience that makes it really hard to explain that God just isn't fair. And that is a great thing. If God were fair, we would all be separated and suffer punishment for our sin. But God the Father chose to punish God the Son in our place. Romans 5:8 says, "But God demonstrates his own love for us in this, while we are still sinners, Christ died for us. So we don't suffer the consequences for our sin, and forgiveness is available to anyone who repents and believes, from the worst person imaginable to the most moral. It just is not fair." But listen to this. Wouldn't you rather have grace than justice? The only person for whom it's not fair is Jesus, and I can assure you he is okay with it. And aren't you glad that he is? Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for your grace and for your love and for not being fair. Amen.
Bill, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It was an awesome devotion. Appreciate you stopping your day to join in. I'm going to roll right into our production report for the marketing update of what's going on right now around One Life. And for the week of 7/13 through 7/17, we nipped at the heels of 700,000 of submitted premium. We submitted $697,575 of submitted annual premium. That's $697,575. So close. So we're looking at making a charge toward that 700,000 mark. Top 10 producers for the week. Number 1, an agent of the week, my friend Aziz Aditamiran with $11,427.84 of submitted premium. Emery Keene with $11,419. Matthew Cheryl with $10,100 of submitted premium. Kathy Robinson, $9,032. Mark Jackson with $8,400. Steve Thornton with $8,296. Jeffrey Birch with $8,247. Kirsten Goodman, $8,154. Number 9, Mr. Richard Reyes with $8,060. And rounding out the top 10, Philip Naphthalin with $8,029 of submitted annual premium. We do have an academy that kicks off next week. So we are inside of 1 week away, or right at 1 week away. It starts at 1 o'clock. Next Monday, August the 3rd. As usual, we are anticipating a heavy load of registrants this week We have about 15 registered so far, so make sure that you're new agents or agents that have not yet come to an academy. Get registered and get on board to be here next Monday. It's going to be a great academy, and we're looking forward to it. You can register right on our homepage, onelifeamerica.com. Halfway down on the right-hand side of the homepage is a big blue button that says New Agent Academy. You click on that, and it walks you right through. We do have a B-League Challenge that kicked off today. It was an opt-in contest, so if you didn't opt in, maybe you'll have time to get on the next time we do a B-League Challenge. But for those that did opt in, you have an opportunity to win up to $1,500 of cash bonus money this week by working 150 B leads and 150 C leads. So good luck to everybody that's in the challenge. That runs from today through Sunday, August the 2nd. So get out there, get her done, and hope everybody gets a nice big bonus checks from their efforts from this week's production. Also, our social media efforts, I make mention this on every call. I don't want to be redundant, but if you're not taking advantage of the social media that One Life heavily participates in, we do that for you guys. We want you to stay plugged in and connected and know what's going on. So with our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, Twitter, LinkedIn accounts, Instagram, you can join our text message communication group, and obviously we have these conference calls. And this is all for our managers and our agents to help stay connected as we are all across the country. Also, make sure to take advantage of Derek Moore. He's our Director of Leadership Development, and he has a site that branches off of the One Life main site. His Motivational Monday video is rendering right now. It is on reputation. So this is one that will get emailed out to you here shortly, but he has all kinds of great videos and blogs and things that you can tap into on his page. So we're going to go ahead and get into the featured section of our call, featured guest section of our call, and we're real glad to have Mike Rose Jr. join us today. He is a co-owner and executive vice president of the Diversified Companies, which is one of One Life's partnering organizations. He graduated from Seton Hall University with minors in Latin and business and double majors in philosophy and religious studies. He also has a master's degree in theology with a certificate in biblical studies from Augustine Institute. Mike is very involved in his community, serving on several nonprofit boards, and has been a youth pastor in various New Jersey churches. What does all this have to do with insurance sales, you might ask? The Diversified Group and their leadership, like Mike Jr., Mike Sr., Anthony, Dan, and anyone else that I might have missed, they simply get it. They run a top-notch insurance shop that focuses on successful agents and business quality. So we're very glad to have Mike join us for our call today. Mike, are you with us?
I am. How you doing, David?
Hey, doing great, Mike. Thanks for taking time out of your day to join our call.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on and inviting me. It is truly an honor. And I want to start today by saying to each of you, I want to share with you a secret that each of you know, but will provide you with the opportunity to earn an extra $1,500 this week. Look, every single time we have an incentive-driven contest, every time we sit down and we kind of put some extra money out there, I believe it's an opportunity for us to do an assessment. I believe it's an opportunity for us to sit down and say, okay, where can I improve and what is lacking? And, you know, oftentimes, I don't know about you, in this business, I kind of feel like I'm in the woods a little bit. I feel like I'm just kind of out there and not exactly certain of the destination that I'm heading to. But when we sit there and we have a contest, it's very easy for us to say, that's where I'm going. I'm going right there. I want to hit the $1,500 mark, or I want to hit the $1,000 mark, or I want to hit the $800 mark. That's what I'm doing. And for this 1 week, I'm getting to that destination. So I look at this little conference call today as an opportunity to take assessment, to determine where we're going, but more importantly, and this is my focus today, why? Why do I need to get there? And that's really something that we need to assess on our own perspective for each of us. Why do I have to hit that number? Why do I have to make sure that I do what I have to do in order to get there? And as we answer that question, I really invite you to write it down. Don't sit there and say, oh, I know why, because of my family. Well, that's not specific enough. That's not going to get you there to make sure that you hit the number that you expect to hit. It's not going to get you to do what you have to do extra in order to hit that number. Instead, it's just a destination, and yeah, I'm going to hit $1,500. That would be great. But the why isn't strong enough. And when we think about the why being strong enough, I really want to focus on the sale itself, on the business itself, on the final expense industry that we are involved in. When Bill was talking about Netflix earlier, Netflix went out and they found out a why, a strong why as to how they were going to become the number one company for streaming purposes. And that's it. They figured out that people want to be able to stream from home. They don't want to mess with the DVDs anymore. They want to be able to sit in their house and be able to order like that. They had a why and they delivered it. And we as final expense specialists must be able to do the same. In doing so, I invite you to consider the three hats of this business. It's something that I've become very aware of. You see, when we sit there and determine that I want to hit this number and I want to do this, after we can go forward from that point, then we can sit there and now say, well, what does my business entail? And I believe it comes down to three hats. As you break out your week this week, I invite you to wear those three hats at different times. The first hat, I call the pizza delivery guy. It's the guy who goes out there and only has a place and a time and a name of a person to go to. That's it. He knows if I'm a pizza guy delivery, I know here's the box. I don't know what's inside the box. I don't know what the box is. I just know here's the box, and I have to bring it to this address at this time. Hopefully I'm going to get a tip at the end of the day. That's it. That's my only purpose. How does that equate to our business? Well, in our business, we need to make sure that when we're on the phone, and even this week, even more, considering we're going to be working B-leads only, when I'm door knocking, I need to make sure that all I care about is a time and a place to go visit somebody. Or when I get to that door, all I have to do is focus on, Mrs. Jones, you requested this information, and I'm delivering that information. Nothing else matters. If you're getting caught up on the phone talking about the insurance or what they have in place or what type of coverage they have and what they're looking for, if you're getting caught up in all of that nonsense, then you're no longer a delivery guy. You're an order taker in many regards. See, a delivery guy is not even having that conversation. All that delivery guy is doing is going there and saying, what is my purpose? I'm supposed to take this and deliver it there. And that's it. And I find that in our business, if we keep that hat on when we're on the phone and all we care about is setting up a time and a place to go meet with somebody, we will change the numbers that we're meeting with. When we go do door knocks and we're standing at the threshold of the door, and we have a full conversation with the person about all of the situation that they have going on, we're missing the point. All we are delivery guys. Ms. Jones, I have the information for you. I'm here to deliver it to you. Would you like me to do it now, or would you prefer that I come back tomorrow at this time? That's it. You see, it's at that point when we get inside the door that we can take off that hat. The delivery hat comes off at that point, and now the why guy comes on. Picture yourself as a press person, a journalist, right? A journalist arrives on the scene. He places on his hat. He's got the big press words on it. I want you to feel like that's what you're doing. I want you to feel so real that, yeah, I have my press hat on right now. Do I have a solution? Am I talking about a solution at all? No. As a press person, as a journalist, I'm asking the questions of who, what, where, and why. You arrive on the scene and you're asking the questions. You're digging, finding out exactly why this person sent the card back. And that's it. That's the key. You see, in our business, I believe we get so caught up in all these other things and providing solutions where with Netflix, they found out why. Why am I in business? Because I want to be the number one streaming company, period. End of story. Well, we, as final expense specialists, what's our business? We need to know why that person sent the card in, period. That's all that matters. And that doesn't come down to, oh, well, they have coverage and they're looking for more. I'm sorry, that's not why they sent the card in. Why they sent the card in is the answer to two questions. The first question is who, Mrs. Jones, God forbid, if you were to pass away yesterday, and you're sitting there looking down from heaven, Mrs. Jones, you're looking at the situation. Who would you want to be responsible for taking care of your arrangements, Mrs. Jones? If you get that answer, you know half of why you're sitting in that house. You know half of why that person sent the card back. Because I guarantee you, I don't care if it's an A lead that the person sent back 2 weeks ago, or if it's a C lead that they sent back 6 months, 10 months, 2 years ago. At some point over the last 2 years, that person has said, yes, I know that I'm leaving a tremendous emotional and financial burden on this person, and that's why I'm sending the card back. Now, The second part of that question as to why they sent that card back is, have they ever been in such unfortunate circumstances of putting a loved one, of making final arrangements for a loved one? Have they ever been in the unfortunate circumstances of making final arrangements for someone else, loved one or not? You see, because if they can answer that question and you're able to answer that question, then you truly know why that person sent the card back. There's no guessing any longer. Yes, Mrs. Jones is in a position. Yes, I sent this card back because 3 months ago my husband passed away. It cost us $8,357 to bury him. It was a very, very painful time because it was out of nowhere. We didn't expect it. We had to pay for it very quickly, and all of the planning that we didn't do came to the forefront right away. I had tremendous decisions I had to make. I didn't even know where to go. So I know that my daughter Janie, my oldest of 3 kids, she has 3 kids of her own, and God forbid if I were to die today, she would be left with that burden. I don't know how she'd, first of all, be able to make all those decisions, and second of all, be able to pay for them. So that's the reason why I sent the card back. You see, if you cannot answer that question, Mrs. Jones, who would be responsible in the event of your passing, and have you ever been in the unfortunate experience of placing a loved one in the ground? If you can't answer that question, quite frankly, in my position, you're not doing your job as a final expense specialist, because that's our job as the journalist. We need to go into that home and find out why they sent the card back. That's the secret that I wanted to share with you today, because quite frankly, every single one of us can earn an extra $1,500 this week by simply finding out that answer for every single lead we have. Every single lead. I don't care if you took 20 leads. I don't care if you took 150. I don't care if you took 300 and you took full advantage of this contest. If you cannot answer that question, it's not going to work. The numbers that you want to hit are not going to happen. So I encourage each of us to really focus on that, to drive it home, and to make a goal. If you took 30 leads this week, I am going to answer for every single one of those to my manager or to myself or to my wife or to my kid exactly the reason why every single one of those 30 people sent this card back. I guarantee you that if you do so, everything else will fall into place. Everything else will fall into place and those numbers will happen. So therefore, the third hat we have, and quite frankly, I look at this as the part that we spend the least amount of time in as final expense specialists. I feel like it's the as long as we do our part in the beginning with the delivery guy hat on, and we spend our whole day that we're going to be doing our appointment setting with that hat on, and when we do our door knocking with that hat on, and then we go out and we do our appointments, 16, 18, 20, 25 appointments a week. We place on the solution hat when we cross that threshold. Well, the smallest portion of the time period then would be our solution hat. Our solution hat is sort of like our Albert Einstein hat. Picture the hat with picture you got something that's got the planets swirling around your head or something like that, or it says E equals MC squared. It's the time where after you've found out exactly why the person has sent the card back, after you've built a tremendous amount of rapport, and you've really got this person in many ways looking at their situation as hopeless because they're recognizing the tremendous emotional and financial burden that they're leaving upon their loved ones, at that moment, that's when the solution guy comes in. So the solution guy answers the situation with, Mrs. Jones, we have an opportunity to be able to help you through this, through our final expense programs that we provide. But it's at that point, because it doesn't allow us to get caught up with, oh, they have insurance already, or they don't believe in insurance, or discussing term versus whole life, all that other nonsense. All it's doing is providing a solution. We recognize this is why you sent the card back, Mrs. Jones. You said that this is who would be responsible, and this is why you felt that someone needs to be responsible in the first place. And therefore, here's the solution. This program will alleviate it for Janie, and she won't ever have to worry about it. She can live with a state of peace of mind for her as well as for you. You see, it eliminates objections because we're able to just provide a solution that they had told us, they shared with us, because the why was intact. It was in the right place. We found out exactly why. So I invite each of us to really take some time this week to make a goal. If you took 30 leads this week or 60 leads, I don't care how many it is. The secret that I believe for each of us to earn an extra $1,500 this week is to simply make a commitment to find out exactly why every single one of those leads were sent back. And that does not get answered until you can answer, first and foremost, Mrs. Jones, in the event of your passing, who would be responsible? And second, have you ever had the unfortunate experience of having to make final arrangements for someone else? If we could do that, I guarantee you, everything else falls into place. Thank you.
Mike, I really appreciate you joining us for the call. We're going to take just a few minutes and open the lines for anyone who has a question for Mike Jr. By pressing *6, you can unmute your line if you have a question for Mike Jr. about his session today. I'll give it a pause for about 10 or 15 seconds to see if there's any questions. While everybody's contemplating what questions or if there's any questions, Mike, I want to say, you brought some very strong points to light, obviously answering the questions, because we do know that the best final expense sale is a mixture of factor or the financial part of it, as well as the emotional aspect of who they're taking care of, who this burden will not be left on because they now have a final expense plan. And the three hats is a great analogy: the delivery hat, the journalism hat, and the solution hat. The three different steps of the process. You've got to get there with the information with that delivery hat. You've got to find out the right information by asking the right questions with your journalism hat, and then you have to provide the solution for their problem at hand. You know, they know they have a need. They need to fill that need, and here's the product that will take care of that, the vehicle that will take care of that need. You mentioned finding out half the battle or half of the reason they sent the card in is who they sent it in for, who they're protecting. And there's a very important reason that on our TriClose tablets, underneath where you would show them 3 different face amounts and premiums, there's a space to put the beneficiary on that sheet. So when they look at those premiums and the face amounts of coverage that they can provide to that person that's on that page, that beneficiary, it's right there, and it starts putting the two things together. Here's who and here's what. So there's a scientific reason for that being on that TriClose tablet. So if you're not getting the beneficiary's information before you're filling out the application at the close of a sale, you need to know so you can talk about making sure, like you mentioned, Janie. We've got this product now for Janie, and she will not have to worry with it. Any questions for Mike Rose Jr. while he's still on the phone? Mike, I appreciate you taking your time again, and I think we have a question. Is there something on the line?
You do have one. This is Janice Harvey. How are you?
Hey, Miss
Good,
Janice.
how are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. I just want to say it's not really a question. I am a new agent. I haven't even been in the field yet, but this is so exciting. I just had to say something. I was a little bit nervous about, how this is going to work and what's going to happen, but your training has been awesome, and I'm excited, I'm ignited, and just really just ready to get out there. And this information has really helped me. It's given me the confidence I think that I need to know that I'm with a company who cares and gives you what you need to be successful. Just wanted to say that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it all.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate you sharing that sentiment with us. I've said it a number of times. We want those who decide to partner with One Life and doing business to feel like they're part of something greater than just being a writing number and a name on a production report. That's part of it. Obviously, the production helps pay your bills and One Life's bills, but we want to be a lot more valuable than just those two elements of this business. The training is a big part of it. And I know Mike Jr. and his team do a phenomenal job with training. We have the academy here. We have online training available. This conference call, at least twice a month, we're having a training type session. So thank you so much for joining in our call today and being part of it. Do we have any other questions for Mike Jr. while he's on the line? Well, I'll go ahead and wrap up our call. And, Mike Jr., it's something I've never really thought about. You made mention that during a contest week, you have your goal. You know what your goal is because usually there's a dollar amount associated by bonus cash, and that's the goal that you're shooting for. But we should make every week and treat every week as if it's a personal competition. So if you do that each and every week, you'll be sure to hit your goals. And, I want to leave you with a quote from Vince Lombardi. If you don't reach that goal, here's this quote from Vince Lombardi: "The price of success is hard work, dedication to the job at hand, and the determination that whether we win or lose, we have applied the best of ourselves to the task at hand." So if you do that, treat each week as a competition, you'll hit your marks. Thank you, One Life, for taking the time out of your Monday morning to join us for our call, and everyone have a fantastic week. Goodbye.
Thank you.